Good evening. The following is a live broadcast for the City of Kingsport Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Board meetings are regularly scheduled on the first and third Tuesdays of each month at 7 p.m. In advance of the BMA meeting, a copy of the agenda is available for inspection at the Kingsport Public Library, City Hall, or online at kingsporttn.gov.
Good evening. Welcome to the Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman business meeting. This is the meeting where we actually vote on items. The day is February 21st. A reminder of the audience, the nice lady keeps giving me the cues. You are on TV, and quite a few people watch this. So the first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by my colleague, Alderman Tommy Alderman, and then please remain standing for the invocation led by Pastor Greg Burton from the Colonial Heights Baptist Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you pray with me, please? Good evening, Father. As in days of old, when the elders would gather at the gate in Israel, so tonight, leaders of our community, they gather before the eyes and ears of the people to do that which is right, to lead us in good paths. And in this time of life in history, as we see campuses across our nation experiencing the power of God come down in revival, may such a revival spread, not just for the people of faith to see their dreams come true, but that we might see a spirit of revival in our government, in our politics, in our friendships, in our care for the needy, in choosing righteousness. Would you give us wisdom and courage, compassion, and civility in so many things? We humbly acknowledge you, and we gather to do well. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Please be seated. Madam Recorder, please call the roll.
Mayor Schul.
Here.
Vice Mayor George.
Here.
Alderman Cooper.
Here.
Alderman Duncan.
Here.
Alderman Montgomery.
Here.
Alderman Alterman.
Here.
Alderman Phillips.
Here. Thank you. All seven elected officials are present. Our city manager, Mr. McCart, could not be with us tonight, but helping moving the meeting along will be our deputy city manager, Mr. Ryan McReynolds. Mr. McReynolds.
All right, we have one recognition tonight. I'd like to invite Alderman Duncan and the members and coaches from the Dobbins-Bennett bowling team to the podium. I will say all season, I was asked multiple times how my son was doing bowling because people kept reading about him in the paper, and I had to admit that's not my son. But I've been super proud of the McReynolds on the team as they have. There's not many of us, so I will claim him tonight. If y'all don't mind coming up, standing right through here.
I want to ask Coach Knott if she will come up here as well. This is truly an honor for me, for you guys to be here and for me to be able to do this tonight. Just a few highlights that I didn't know, and I'll just be the first to admit, but, and you're cheating because you're looking on my cheat sheet right here. So if you did all this, so I think Ms. Knott has been a coach for 22 years at Dobbins-Bennett with the bowling team, and so that's amazing. And so this is even more amazing, 500 wins.
That's wrong. It's 548.
548.
Wow. We'll fix that.
Bus gave me that, so we're blaming on Frank.
Hey, we'll get the break.
Okay.
Yeah, and 31 district championships.
That's boys and girls combined.
That's good. And so DB Bowling has made a trip to the TSSAA every year since the conception, except for 2018. And this year, you was runner-up in the state, and that
Yes,
is
sir.
pretty special for not only our community,
That's
but
the
certainly
highest.
for the school.
That's the highest we've gone in state.
Yeah, and so then you had one bowler that was exceptional as
And
well.
McReynolds.
Yeah, and that's what.
Your new
And
son.
so we know there's no relation to this with his athletic skills and Ryan's athletic skills. So I'm going to read this, and then we'll let you say a few words and introduce your coaches and players here too. I will say one thing. So I thought you all wear your bowling shirts tonight, because they are killer bowling shirts. And they look really, really good, don't they?
They
So
are.
they
They're
look good, so.
They know we're there.
The City of Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman commends Dobbins Bennett High School boys bowling team for outstanding performance while representing Kingsport and Dobbins Bennett High School throughout the 22-23 bowling season, culminating in achieving first runner-up in the championship match. This accomplishment was history-setting for Dobbins Bennett. The board applauds your dedication to excellence and good sportsmanship. Congratulations from the BMA on behalf of the citizens of Kingsport. You represented so well, by the way, your community in a superlative manner, and it is signed by our mayor, Patrick W. Shaw. So congratulations, and then we'll just let you get up here and say a few words.
Okay, here we go. We've already pointed out that Blake had finished third. Our highest at that time was eighth, and Blake topped that very well. Blake and Peyton have also shot 300 games this year during the season. So we've had 3 perfect seasons, or 3 perfect games shot, and we had 2 of them this year, and we'll have more next year. Won't we, gentlemen? Won't we, gentlemen? What do we say?
Never figured out.
There you go, yeah, y'all are learning. Okay, I want to thank Dale McReynolds, because he is our assistant coach and has worked very hard and helps me tremendously through the season. I want to recommend or recognize my girls. They finished runner-up in the region and went to sub-state against Carter High School and did very well. They bowled their best. We didn't make it to state, but I had 2 young ladies go to state, Abby J. Jardanes and Stephanie Reynolds. They went for individuals. We co-op with Westridge High School, and that is a wonderful, wonderful collaboration there with them. These kids are great, and I love them to death.
Is your
Y'all wanna
home
say
court
anything?
Warpath Lanes?
I'm sorry?
Your home court, is that where Warpath Lanes?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Unless y'all build me one.
Well, the
We'll throw that in there. As long as I got 12 lanes, we're good. Yeah, y'all keep it in mind. Put me one up. I just need 12 lanes.
Well, thank
Do you
you.
want to introduce your players and have
Yes,
them turn around
ma'am.
and face out so the TV can see them?
This is Maddox. Do you want me to say your last name too? Sure. Maddox Ashcroft. Turn around, baby.
Smile, you're on
I love
TV.
you. Nate Rickards. His brother CJ couldn't be here tonight. Nate is from West Ridge.
Okay.
You want to say Mac Davis? Mac, turn around, baby. Alex Nelson, Peyton Kesey, Blake McReynolds, Nathan Frazier, Seth Mullins. Seth is also with West Ridge. And of course, Dale McReynolds.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job. Good job.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Y'all have a seat.
Don't forget the merchandise.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Ryan, the athleticism in your family runs through your wife, I guess.
It does.
Okay.
Frankie pointed that out to me at a basketball game.
Okay, please proceed.
All right, we have one appointment to consider tonight. We're recommending you consider the reappointment of Tony Jennings to the Kingsport Housing Redevelopment Authority. This reappointment comes with a recommendation from KHRA, given his tenure and accounting and managerial experience, and we ask that you approve his appointment as presented.
Yeah, he's helped with the financial review of the operation. Do I hear a motion to approve this appointment? So moved. Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second? Second. second by Alderman Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
All right, next item is the approval of minutes for the work session on February 6, 2023, and the business meeting held on February 7th, 2023. We ask that you approve the minutes as submitted.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve both the work session and business meeting minutes? Moved by Alderman Phillips. Is there a second? Second. Second by Alderman Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? They both pass unanimously. At this time, we hold a public meeting in which we allow comment on items that are on the agenda, only items that are on the agenda. If you wish to speak about an item of general civic interest, there's a portion later on in our proceedings where you can do that. But for agenda items, citizens may speak. You can come to the podium. Please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. A total of 30 minutes is allocated for public comment during this part of the agenda. Are there any citizens that wish to come forward to address the board? If not, I declare this part of the proceedings to be concluded. Mr. City Manager, please proceed.
And you guys don't have to stay through the whole meeting, even though you're recognized, you all can. It won't hurt our feelings because we totally get it, so.
Thank you.
As long as you go back and do some homework.
Yeah. So thank you guys for all you did for us.
Thank you.
Great
Yeah.
job. All right. First item is a budget ordinance to amend the 2023 school special project fund budget in the amount of $30,000. It's due to a very generous donation to the Dobbins-Bennett robotics team. And later in this agenda, you'll be asked to accept the donation, but this is the ordinance that brings it into their budget.
And my understanding is the donor wished to remain anonymous.
That's right.
But we really, the board, we very much appreciate citizens that do this. And we have citizens from time to time donate to a variety of good causes related to our city government, but more important to advance various community objectives. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
Ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2023 school special projects fund budget and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. A reminder, our citizens, first reading of an ordinance, we take a voice vote. On the second reading, we have to do a roll call vote. By the way, Harold, that was real good with the bowling. You did that great. Thank you.
A good bunch, for sure.
The item is on the floor. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. Deputy City Manager.
All right, the next item is another school budget ordinance. This time it's the 2023 general purpose school fund budget to be adjusted in the amount of $182,300. This is needed due to the actions the BOE took in the increase they gave the classified employees, and the additional funding is coming through unanticipated, unbudgeted sales tax. So it is theirs coming in as revenue, and they're bringing it in and applying it to the pay raise that they gave their classified employees. So we ask that you approve this ordinance.
Right. And as you pointed out in our work session yesterday, this was well covered in the Times News. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the general purpose school fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second. Second by Alderman Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, next item is a city ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2023 general fund budget. It's a unique ordinance that it doesn't adjust the funds, but it adds 2 employees. So the 2 employees are going to be assigned to the Leisure Services Maintenance Division, specifically mowing and maintaining the parks. and they will use the money that was allocated for contract mowing to pay for this service. So we feel like this will be able to provide a better service at a lower price for our citizens, and hopefully we'll see the results this summer at the parks.
Thank you, and I appreciate that Assistant City Manager Borders explained this in great detail to us. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the general fund budget by adding 2 full-time maintenance worker positions for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is another budget ordinance. This one's to amend various city funds. This is done from time to time throughout the city. John brings them to keep all the different accounts in alignment, and we would ask that you approve this ordinance as presented.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend various fund budgets for the year ending June 30th, 2023, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Phillips. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. I guess I ought to pause here and remind our public, there's always people watching for the first time or coming here and sitting with us for the first time. If it looks like we're going quickly over some of these items, it's because that each of the board members have met with the city manager individually, and then we meet as a group at what we call a work session to review them that in even more detail, iron out any questions and concerns. We're not allowed to vote at the work session, but that's why tonight is business meeting, we are allowed to vote. So that's why we're pretty familiar with these. Mr. City Manager.
All right, the next item is a second and final reading on the budget adjustment that you all passed last board meeting. And this is going to pave the way for an item you're going to vote upon next that will help distribute the baby doe funds to the Northeast Tennessee Regional Recovery Center. So that's one of the large things within this budget ordinance. So we ask that you approve this ordinance on second and final reading.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend various fund budgets for the year ending June 30th, 2023, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Moved by the Vice Mayor, second by Alderman. Any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, all members voted aye, therefore it passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
As I just mentioned, that paved the way for this item. It's a resolution authorizing the disbursement of funds to the First Tennessee Development District, and this is for specifically the Northeast Tennessee Regional Recovery Center. This board, as well as other groups within the community over the past few months, has received multiple presentations from the area judges, as well as a few legislators that have been involved paving the way through the state of Tennessee, related to really providing hope for our area as we struggle with the drug epidemic, and this has been the pathway our judges have felt is going to be most effective. So we ask that you approve this resolution as presented.
Thank you. At this point, I want to make a few comments, and then I'm going to abstain from voting on this action, and I'll tell you why. This Northeast Tennessee Regional Recovery Center is in the process of standing up. We hope that we'll actually admit the first clients probably in April, maybe early May, but it is moving along. There has some money that's been funded by the state, but this baby doe settlement money, several counties and cities within our region, and I define the region this way: the first, second, and third judicial districts, which encompasses 9 counties of Northeast Tennessee. But Several of those municipalities and counties participated in this case and received a portion of the award money. And in our case, we're going to vote tonight to provide 1.1 million toward this facility, which, in my opinion, is a great facility. It gives people a true second chance to get straight and get on their feet. A person will be there for 120, well, I should say, it covers men and women, but there's a male facility, it used to be a jail up in Roan Mountain, which at the maximum will hold 180 people. And then there's a separate female facility that will cover around 20. But the money goes toward both facilities. The program covers both male and female. I'm going to abstain because I'm a member of the board of directors that will approve the disbursement of money toward the prime contractor that will operate the facility and so forth. And I'm also a member of the First Tennessee Development District Board of Directors. The money will go from municipalities and counties to them, to the First Tennessee Development District, and then they'll issue it on to the facility itself, but that provides an oversight and good financial management. So at this point, Ms. Vice Mayor, would you please take over?
Certainly. Mr. Attorney, will you publish?
A resolution authorizing the disbursement of funds allocated for the Northeast Tennessee Regional Recovery Center to First Tennessee Development District.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a first by Alderman Montgomery. Do we have a second?
Second.
By, who had second? Tommy?
Phillips.
Phillips. Alderman Phillips had our second. Any discussion, you guys? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0, 1 abstain.
Thank
Back to
you.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Vice Mayor. We'll proceed on, Mr. City Manager.
All right, next item is a resolution awarding bids for the purchase of various water and sewer maintenance items. This is an annual action item that comes before you, allows the utility department to do the work throughout the year. And I really want to just let the purchasing department know how much we appreciate their hard work. A lot of effort goes into something this large, and Nikisha Eichmann puts it together every year, which allows us to continue to do the work throughout the year. So we ask that you approve the resolution as presented.
You know, you and other members of the staff, city manager and so forth, have reminded me a lot of times that of how bidding is awarded to the lowest bidder that is able to do the work or provide the right item. Because I always questions from citizens, well, why didn't you go local on this? Well, we wouldn't have gone local if the local vendor could have provided the item at the right time and the right service and so forth on at the most reasonable price. So I appreciate that y'all track this very carefully, follow state law and so forth and correct procedures and all that. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution awarding the bid for the purchase of various water and sewer maintenance items to Ferguson Enterprise, Consolidated Pipe and Supply Incorporated, and Core and Main Incorporated, and authorizing the city manager to execute purchase orders for the same.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Moved by Alderman Duncan, seconded by Alderman. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next is a resolution to continue the nutrition site agreement with First Tennessee Human Resource Agency for the nutritional meal site program located at the Senior Center. This provides not only hot meals at the Senior Center, but also as a launching point for Meals on Wheels. We ask that you approve this resolution as presented.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving a site agreement with First Tennessee Human Resource Agency for use of space for the nutritional meal site program at the Kingsport Senior Center.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? If not, please indicate, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, right, next is a resolution authorizing the Industrial Development Board of the City of Kingsport to execute a pilot agreement for Project Cookie. Clay Walker was here last night and brought the board up to speed as much as possible with this exciting project. It represents a $3.4 million investment to a business located within the city of Kingsport, as well as adding 48 jobs for our city. So we ask that you approve this resolution as presented.
Thank you. Mr. Clay Walker is the Executive Director of Networks, our Sullivan County partnership in which Kingsport is a partner. There's some details that he could not release to the public at this moment because we're dealing with a private firm, and there's laws regarding privacy and the way they do business. But the board is aware of who we're dealing with, and everything is being made public at appropriate time.
There'll also be a state announcement, right?
Right. Thank you. Good point. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the Industrial Development Board of the City of Kingsport, Tennessee to negotiate and accept payments in lieu of ad valorem tax with respect to a project in Kingsport, Sullivan County, Tennessee, and finding that such payments are deemed to be in furtherance of the board's public purposes as defined in Tennessee Code Annotated Section 7-53-305.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second? Second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? If not,
This is great.
yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I think this is great.
Yeah, it is great, and it is operating in accordance with the appropriate procedures. And it's a Kingsport located company. Any other comments? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we now move into the consent agenda. We have 9 items on the consent agenda. I'll read all 9, and if you'd like any pulled for further discussion, just let me know. So first is a consideration of a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order for Chromebooks and Chrome licenses for the Kingsport City Schools. That's very heavy on the school side, these consent items.
Well, yeah, and we appreciate that David Fry, their financial manager, did come to our work session yesterday and
Explained
answered
all
all
that.
our questions, explained things, and we appreciate that. Go ahead.
Second is a consideration of a resolution to accept an anonymous donation to the Dobbins-Bennett High School Cyber Tribe Robotics Team. Third is a consideration of a resolution awarding a contract for temporary employment services for the Kingsport City Schools to AccuForce HR Solutions, LLC, and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents. Fourth is a consideration of a resolution authorizing the purchase of 3 7-passenger vans for the Dobbins-Bennett High School activities. Fifth is a consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for E-rate Category 2 network equipment for fiscal year 2023 and 2024. This is for the schools as well. Six is a consideration of a resolution for approval to enter into a professional services agreement with Thompson Litton for services related to the Lincoln Elementary School HVAC replacement project. Seventh is a consideration of a resolution for approval to enter into a professional service agreement with Thompson and Litton for services related to the Johnson Elementary School HVAC replacement project. I'll mention the bulk of those funds are coming through the ESSER funding opportunities that the schools have
Which was the federal program for COVID relief.
and have some time limits to them.
Right, right.
Eighth is approval of offers for purchase of easements from affected properties in the city's sewer upgrades program. And the last is a consideration of a resolution to approve entering into an agreement with Holston Engineering for professional services related to the Robinson Middle School HVAC replacement project.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda with all 9 items as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. It was moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Alderman. Are there any members that wish to have one or more items pulled for separate consideration? If not, Madam Recorder, is there any further discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper,
Aye to all.
Alderman Duncan,
Aye to all.
Vice Mayor George,
Aye to all.
Alderman Montgomery,
Aye to all.
Alderman Alterman,
Aye to all.
Alderman Phillips,
Aye to all.
Mayor Scholl.
Aye to all 7 items. They pass unanimously. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we've moved into the communications time, and only thing I have is we were reminded tonight by the nice group of DB students and some Westridge, but they were participating within the bowling team, how many great opportunities the city provides for those that are coming up through the school system. And there's just so many different places I hear of kids getting involved, whether it's in the elementary, middle, or high school, and it really does prepare them well for life. There's so much that's learned, not just winning the sport, but so many life lessons that are learned through all those activities. As we've been sitting here, I've been keeping score or keeping update with the soccer team who's in Morristown today. So soccer has kicked off, so I do encourage
The boys soccer.
boys soccer, girls in fall. But I do encourage the community to go out and to, if you haven't been to a bowling match, if you can find it in the paper next year, go watch them, or to a soccer, cross-country, or track, and really support our young kids that have jumped into these efforts.
We got lacrosse going now, right?
Yeah, the club is right now, and I think in TSSAA, it is moving forward in 2 years. Is that correct? But a real active tribe lacrosse, they practice, and I don't know if they play at the TAC, but they're practicing there every time I go watch the basketball team. So they're a phenomenal group as well.
So make sure I understood here. I'm looking at their Assistant City Manager for Leisure Services, who has Parks and Recreation. You don't have to come up, Michael, but you told us in 2 years it's going to become an interscholastic sport, lacrosse. 2 years. Okay? And DB will be one of the most competitive, I bet.
Oh, yes, they've done well.
Is that it?
That's all I've got.
Okay, I'm going to start with Alderman Montgomery. Paul?
Thank you.
Okay, roll tribe.
Roll tribe. Deputy City Manager Reynolds took my comments. And I think tonight, when we approved 7 passenger vans, activity vans, that speaks well for the activities that go on at Dobbins Bennett High School. And having 2 children that have attended and moved on from there, and what we offer the students of our city, it's phenomenal. It's definitely a comprehensive high school, comprehensive program. So again, kudos to those in administration, teachers, and all those involved in providing what they do for DB students. Even though I'm not a DB graduate, I'm not going to say that.
But I've got to tell, we got a lot of new citizens who may not realize that Alderman Montgomery at one time was the president of our school board. So we appreciate your continued dedication
Thank
to
you. Thank you.
municipal service.
That's it.
Okay, thank you, James.
Just 2 quick things. Get well to our city manager. Hope he gets to feeling better. And then secondly, as a citizen of Sullivan County, I am, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I saw your article in the paper this morning. I'm very disappointed.
Cliff wrote the article.
Yeah, so, well, that's right, and with your comments and some from Paul. But I was disappointed in what took place last week. I think if this board was to vote on something without any information whatsoever, except for hearsay, we would be ridiculed and voted out of office. And I think it is very short-sighted, the decision that the Sullivan County Commission made. And I just, I hope that there is some, we don't all have to play well together all the time, but we don't want to mark it off as an option at all. And I think that is, it's a scary thought to take that firm of a stance before you even hear what the proposal is or hear from anybody. And I think to not even have that group come to speak, and I probably am biased for multiple reasons, but to not even have that group come and speak and even hear the plan is disappointing, I guess, is the only word I'll use. And that's all my comments.
Thank you. Tommy, you concur with your
Yeah, I agree.
seatmate?
I agree with what Mr. Phillips had to say.
Thank you.
I mean, it's very unfortunate that we don't even take the time to even discuss some of these things that are so important. And believe it or not, these items that come up, they are important. And they're super important to all the people, because I guarantee you, the people that don't pay attention to them and stuff like that, they'll be the first ones to raise Cain about not getting heard. So anyway, I just wanted to second what you had to say there, James, because it is important. Because I think we do need to slow down at times and get our arms around this stuff, and then we can vote logically and intelligently. And
Thank you. And you know, there's three of us on this board who have served on the county commission, you, me, and the vice mayor.
that's right.
So it's not like we don't understand
Yeah.
what they deal with. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, well, thank you. Alderman Duncan.
Just 2 or 3 items. Congratulations to Dr. Hampton for being named the superintendent of our Kingsport City.
Take off the interim, right?
Yeah, that's right, take the interim off. And, you know, we've known him for a long time, and he's a good guy, and we wish him well, and I think he's going to do a fabulous job in that position. Shenanigans is at Lamplight, runs through the 26th, so you can reserve your tickets for that. Just go to the website. And then yesterday, we had a great report from Ryan on paving. And so it shows us from a data aspect, I think, of where we're at and where we need to be. And so we know we've got some catching up to do from that, but also reflected our progress in that very well, too, I thought.
Right.
So when you get to see that on a data-driven thing like we do with paving now, it's pretty easy to kind of see where we're at. So we appreciated that update on that yesterday in the work session. And then finally, we wish Chris well. He's a little beaten, banged up, I think, so we'll be glad when he gets back and hope he's resting.
Okay, thank you. Miss Betsy?
I don't have much, but I want to kind of reiterate what some people talked about, the bowling team. I didn't realize that West Ridge was part of, they
I
were.
like that too.
Yeah,
That
I
was
was.
exciting that they
I
merged,
didn't.
came together.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't realize that happened, the
Co-op.
co-op.
Yeah.
So I was.
Would you say that that's the county and the city working together?
Yes, county and city
I
working
would say
together.
that is the
Regional
county-
cooperation.
Regional cooperation.
But I was really impressed with that. I didn't realize that took place, so
That was exciting.
that was.
Very good.
And again, wish Chris well. He's in our thoughts and prayers.
Is that it?
I agree with you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Miss Vice Mayor?
I do want to say that Ryan did a very good job shepherding us through all this, and I'm sure Chris is watching us, and Ryan, we didn't even have to kick him under the table or anything.
And Ryan always gets through so fast.
He does, Chris, notice that. Want to remind everybody that the chamber is hosting their 4th Friday breakfast this Friday. I think their new start time is 8:30, so anybody that is, a nice event. The home builders, which James didn't mention because he was, the home.
That's next week, you're
Yeah.
putting it in my mind.
The home builders home
I got
show.
a sign in my yard.
Thank you.
The Home Builders Home Show is the first weekend in March, which is Friday, March 2nd, 3rd,
Right.
and 4th.
Third, fourth, and fifth.
3rd, 4th, and
Third,
5th.
fourth, fifth, right.
It starts Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock on the 3rd of March. It is at a lot of our home builders, as well as a lot of the landscapers and realtors are there, banks are there. A great many people are there, and it's usually very well attended. So I did want to plug that for you.
Saved me.
So, and to tack on to what James said about the county commission, I think what disappointed me the most is that they voted to shut down the discussion prior to a lot of people being allowed to speak. So a lot of the commissioners had requested to speak. They called for the question, which stopped the sharing and discussion between the members. And I am happy that this board has never stopped discussion on any item, whether we agree or not, and I hope that we always allow everyone to speak. I think that's very much disappointed me that you had people that had requested to speak, commissioners that had requested to speak, and were not even allowed to have their points heard. So, like I said, I've been there, and I was just disappointed in that, and I am glad that this committee here has never done that. And that's all I have.
Your service was after mine, but 61% of the revenue for the county to run the government comes from Kingsport, right?
About that much, yes.
Yeah, 61%. Was that it? I'm sorry.
That was it. That was
Thank
all
you.
mine.
Well, again, we are just thinking of the city manager and hopes he gets better soon, we're just glad it didn't worse. There was a little accident, which wasn't his fault. We were going to have our annual strategic planning conference this coming Friday, February 24th, which I always look forward to because I find it very helpful. It comes far enough along past the beginning of the fiscal year so that you get a good feel for, how you're doing. But it's well before we get deep into the budget deliberations so we can kind of focus on the big picture and see where we are. But we anticipate that we will hold it sometime in March and get back on track in that regard. I don't have too much to add to what I said last night about the county. I'd just say that we don't want to compete against our own county, but we're going to assess the whole situation and see what we should do and act in the best interest of Kingsport citizens. And that's the way this board is operated. And I appreciate my colleagues because I know they're dedicated to that. They operate in the best interest of our citizens. At this point, therefore, I will open this up to citizens to come forward to speak at the podium on issue-oriented items. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. Are there any citizens who wish to come forward? Come on, ma'am. Remember now, we're not going to talk about UT basketball or baseball. Baseball team started off kind of rough, but anything that's related to civic affairs, we're anxious to hear. For the record, your name and address.
I'm Melissa Hanks. I live at 309 Glen Avenue. I am a Link Garden citizen, and I'm an active member in our Link Garden Watch.
Thank you. We ask people to sign up so that if later on maybe the board or our staff has a question about what you stated, that they can contact you.
I have no problem.
Okay.
I'm here to represent Glen Street, where I live. We have 2 problems. And y'all have got to understand, in Link Garden, we have a lot of trivia problems. And these trivia problems grow up to be big things. And it makes living in Link Garden hard, very hard. But I'm going to keep my 2 things that I want y'all to think about for Glen Street. We've got 5 houses. They're in a square. These 5 houses from Glen to May in a square have 13 dogs. 13 dogs are usually pit bulls. And most of our dogs out in Link Garden are chained from birth to death. And they're on a 2-foot chain. They run in a circle. Doesn't matter if it snows, it rains. They're running in a circle in the mud, in their own urine, their feces. And what it comes down to is neighbors not respecting each other. And I can't make my neighbor respect me as much as I respect them. And you all can't make people respect each other. And what I would like to address is, could Kingsport add a code, no chain? I don't think that our animals out there should be chained 24/7. and they're not fed well, they're not taken care of, they're never off the chain. They bark from daylight to dark. So I've got 13 barking dogs in my neighborhood that I have no control over. Y'all don't have no control over. There's no codes control over it. But if we had a no chain law, we might be able to control this growing. Sit on my porch late at night. If you don't hear them barking, you hear them crying. So that's something I'd like for y'all to think about,
Thank you.
okay? Because it is a growing problem. And just like, you know, our drug problem started out trivia, and now it's big. Now we've got dog problems that are trivia, and now it's blowing up out of proportion. And another thing that the citizens on my street, residents, is our road is 18 feet wide, and everybody's got a driveway. Why they don't use them, don't know. Nobody uses their driveway. They park on the side of the street, in the street, not part off and part off. But one of the residents brought it to my attention that one of their childs got sick, was running high fever. They couldn't get through. They had to back up and go around. And it is hard for our fire trucks to get through. It's hard for our emergencies to get through. And it's not only just Glen Street, there's other streets in our community where it is becoming hazardous. And that's about it.
Thank you.
So when can y'all let me know about a no chain law?
Well, you left your
Do
name.
do I need to do work? I can give you, I can do pictures.
You left your name and phone number, right?
Yes.
So
Would y'all please
so
consider
the
it?
staff can provide
Yeah.
that to me.
We'll have someone follow up on both of those.
The joke in Lynn Garden is when people move in, they go out and count the trees. Ever how many trees they got, that's how many dogs are put on a 2-foot chain. And there's 5 dogs sometimes to a household, chained to different trees.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
This deputy city manager will get this to the right people.
You all need to come out to our meetings. We are a group of wonderful people who are trying to figure out all these trivia kinks that are making our community bad. And it would be good for you all to come out and see how we're working for our community. And we're excited about it. And we thank you for what you all are doing for us, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens who wish to come forward? If not, good evening, and we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight for the Kingsport BMA meeting. This program has been a production of the City of Kingsport in cooperation with Milligan Productions, Milligan University, and Charter Communications. For more information, visit kingsporttn.gov.